There will be a quiz, yes. So, AI. AI is everywhere. It's impossible to not notice it. So there are hundreds of billions of dollars invested into that. There is threat to our jobs, so we think. Yet I still have to wash my dishes, or at least pretend like I'm trying to. So it started like a bright future 10 years ago. So take the human out of the loop. By 2017, we will have autonomous driving and not need radiologists. 2 years ago, AI was going to kill us all. We don't remember it anymore, right? So question becomes, what do we really have here? Is it just improved Google search? Or is it a transformational change in science and society? There is a company that says we can now publish scientific paper for $15. Okay, great. Who is going to read all those papers? So if you think about it, ultimately what we want to do is to bring value of AI from the imaginary to the real world. And quoting Oppenheimer, the theory can only get you so far. And those of you that remember 80s, Madonna said it better, so we live in a material world, right? It's all about making some cash along the way. So for me, the journey of using AI started actually a long time ago, in around 2006, 2007. At that time, nobody cared. And I was interested in taking AI and to work with the large volumes of data that can be generated by the microscope. So we don't know what it means. Maybe we need some better ways of analyzing this data. It wasn't a direct road. So for example, in around 2010, I went with my kids to the AMSC. That was the time when science was all gung-ho about graphene. I decided I want to work on something that contains carbon. And that's the image I make. Coal looks awesome under the microscope. Nonetheless, that's clearly not the right stop. So rather than doing mining, maybe my future was data mining. So we did it for quite a while. So we started with the simple things like neural networks. At that time, it was the black magic for physics community. We went into the deep convolutional networks, basically combining computer vision and microscopy, started to do things like deep neural networks. But one thing that we learned is that for when you bring machine learning in the real world, it becomes difficult. It's much easier to compute the climate model than to teach a robot how to move. But the real issue is not even precision, it's a rewards. If I ask a robot to make a sandwich, a robot doesn't need it, I need a sandwich. So how can we do that? Easiest way is to prescribe what to do, but we know very well that planned economy doesn't work very well, so socialism doesn't work. So if we want to make AI work, we need to learn how to provide AI an incentive. And that's exactly what I and my colleagues in the material science department are doing. So University of Tennessee is now only one place in US, so folks at MIT want to do it, we have done it, that has the microscopes connected to the supercomputer when there is a machine learning agent that works on the supercomputer and sends the commands to the instrument. And we can do magic with that. So what you see here, the small balls, these are atoms. And you see how one of my colleagues used the electron beam of the microscope in order to assemble matter, essentially one atom at a time. So for those of you who have a business idea of how to make money out of that, please talk to me after the presentation. That being said, the key question is how can we make all these tools work together? So we have autonomous tools now. How can we create value out of their combination? It's the same question of how we make a return on investment on the hundreds of billions that went into the AI. Same question, how we make it real. And we started to think about it that maybe, just maybe, the way that we look at the AI world is incomplete. So if you think about how the big data and physics work, we try to solve simple reward problems, how we minimize loss function, how we make a predictive power of the model. That's not what we need in real world. Real world tasks are very different. Now, you may ask, what does this guy knows about AI, right? Well, this is a quote from the book by Peter Norvig, who knows pretty much everything about AI, who basically says that the AI community is very good in solving problems when you know what you want to accomplish. But it's very bad in figuring out what is that you want to accomplish. If you deal with things like chess, well, chess has a clear rules, and chess has one goal. When you plan your career, You have to make a lot of decisions, and you make these decisions based on the probabilistic expectation of what the reward would be. We don't know the future. We can only prepare for that. That's the risk. And that's exactly the thinking that we put in our autonomous microscope. So rather than human doing everything, we have the AI agent that runs the instrument, and human tries to guide the rewards that given to this AI agent. And when we worked on this first, we thought that we are going to essentially go in scientific terms from driving a Toyota to driving a Lamborghini, and then we realized that's not true. We went from riding a horse to driving a car. Goal is the same, but the way you interact with the system is different. And we are now starting to think that finally we get to the point that all the community that works on the large language models can be connected to our tools versus these reward structures. Why is it an opportunity? AI has a very extensive workforce now. It primarily came from theory community. They build startups in theory. If we want to make AI real, we need to bring AI to experimental sciences, agriculture, agronomy, all of that. That's a challenge. We need to train people who can use AI in the hands-on job, in the lab, in the field, on the manufacturing field. And that's not going to happen by itself. We can make it happen. And we are making it happen. Now, what would this future look like? Well, think about multiple humans interacting with multiple AI agents, growing, having their own challenges, competing for resources. So if you put all this together, and if you think about your experience or your kids' experience playing the World of Warcraft, that's how the future is going to look like. We are all going to live in the grand computer game. Thank you.